The first part of creating an expense report is completing the report header. The first field is the report name. This is a free text field. Check with your department to see if there is a required naming convention. The best practice would be to name the report something meaningful to you and the approvers so that they will easily understand what they are approving. This will also help you and the approvers in the future if you are reviewing past reports. For this example, we'll use October 2020 mileage and expenses. The report trip business start date and report trip business end date fields will be the first and last transaction date, or dates of local mileage. For this example, we're doing all non-travel expenses for the month of October 2020. Note that an expense report can only be submitted after the report trip business end date. So in this example, if my last date of mileage was October 30th, I would make the last date be October 30th so I could submit this report on Friday the 30th. The final report field is in reference to travel expense reports and will not affect non-travel reports. Choose Yes, as this is a required field. The report trip purpose field is a predefined drop-down list of the most common business purposes. For this example, we'll use meeting, since all of the expenses will be related to local meetings. The trip type field is a predefined drop-down list. Since this is non-travel, choose non-overnight stay in state. This means that there is no overnight stay away from headquarters and all expenses are taking place in the state of Texas. Choosing the correct trip type ensures that expenses are recorded in the accounting system properly. The next two fields are in reference to travel expense reports and will not affect non-travel reports. Choose No on the field, Does this trip contain personal travel?, as this is a required field. The business purpose field is a free text field that should be used to further explain the report trip purpose. For this example, we'll say outreach and meetings with campus departments for accreditation requirements. The comments field is an optional field to enter additional information that the approvers may need to know. An example may be mileage claimed on the dates that department vehicle is unavailable. This way, the approver knows if you're claiming mileage that you're only doing that because the departmental vehicle was not available that day. The next 10 fields show the accounting chart stream combination that will be paying for the out-of-pocket non-travel expenses. The values are based on what chart stream combinations are available in EIS. Each field must have a value and is dependent on the combination of fields that precede it. The information required for these fields can be obtained from a departmental budget officer or college financial officer. There are two ways to search for the values you wish to enter. Search by text to find the department name, or search by code to enter in the 6-digit value for your university's department. The default search and best practice is to search by code, as all of the departments for the 4 campuses are available for use. When the value you are looking for appears at the bottom of the search box, select that value and move on to the next field. So in this example, I'm going to type in the first 3 numbers of the account I'm looking for, and I can pick from the list. From this point forward, you can just choose from the list at the bottom to help prevent any entry errors. If you come to a field where the combination you have does not have a value, project, for example, choose None at the bottom of the search box. Remember that each field must have a value and is dependent on the combination of fields that precede it. There are 2 fund cats available based on this department number and no project. I'll choose 200. There's only 1 fund available. You will complete the same action for the remaining accounting chart fields. The first time you create an expense report, you will have to fill out all 10 fields. Concur saves recently used chart string combinations, so if you use this combo for next month's expense report, you can select the recently used instead of clicking through all 10 fields. So for this example, I'm going to choose this one. See that all of the fields have been filled in for me because I used this one previously. Since this report is for non-travel expenses, a request is not needed. Select Next. The report header is now complete. After completing the header and selecting Next, a dialog box titled Travel Allowances appears, asking, will this report include travel allowance expenses? Remember that travel allowances is in reference to per diem meals and GSA lodging rates. Since this expense report is for employee out-of-pocket non-travel expenses, select No. The expense report header has been completed and the expense report saved and created. We can begin to add expenses or come back at a later time to add expenses throughout the month. The expense report header can be modified at any time before it is submitted. To return to the expense header, either select Details, Report Header, or simply select the title of the expense report. See that the expense report has been created, and you can go back into it to add expenses.